And in there was a passage where he talked about how French civilization is almost like a death match against automation, you know.
Oh,
You know,
I like that.
and when you were saying about what would it be how would you define French culture? How would one partake into it? Well, I think he managed to capture one thing, which is that it's a very aesthetic approach to the world that is inherited, largely from the Greeks. There was one of the medieval writers, Chrétien de Troyes. He had in the prologue to one of his books, a beautiful passage where he says, "Well, the torch of the Greeks went from Greece to Rome, and from Rome went to France, and that there's this deep, deep desire in a way to keep such an aesthetic approach to the world alive. I think perhaps stronger than in other countries. There's always been this debate about how France is different from Italian culture, from German culture, from a British culture, and the way we typically create very, very broad generalization. Maybe a bit of a caricature, but there's been a lot more. In a way, seriousness and scientific rigor on the German side, much more pragmatism on the English side, and on the Italian side, maybe also an aesthetic approach, but
design and
different in its in the way that it expresses itself.
Less serious, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think the French took a very serious approach to aesthetic and took it very seriously, whereas the Italians were more playful.
La vita è bella.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have some Italian blood. Well, actually, the genetic test is mostly Italian blood, but I was born in Brazil, grew up in Mexico, so a whole mess. But yeah, Italy has this approach, especially in the South, they say, right?
Exactly.
And wow. So I love this phrase. Like I'm really passionate about the Greeks. I'm here thanks to the Greeks, to be honest, thanks to the classics and the pre-Socratics, because I just fell in love with their work and I just read it so much, and I did a course on the Greeks and I have taught it for 5 years. I've done 36 groups, I've done it live 36 times. Now I'm doing my last group. I'm going to stop teaching Greeks. It's going to be how do you say duelo when someone passes away and when you grieve? I'm going to grieve.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a loss, but I have to keep going. But that's amazing that Rome inherited the flame of Greece, and then France inherited the flame of the Roman Empire. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I think they did something very special. But I think also the philosophy is not only worshipping the ashes, is also keeping the fire alive, right? And I think France has made that amazingly. At some point, we're going to start talking about Nietzsche, I know, but Nietzsche really admired the French. In several of his books, he mentions some, French philosophers, and he's really, appreciative of them. But before we get to that, I want to talk a bit more about your early years and your education, because I'm fascinated about your academic career, and I'm sure people that are listening to this, they want to know. So you had a bit of moving around for many years, and then you had to decide to study college. Or how is the system in France? You were telling me the other day that it's a bit different from other places. Could you speak a bit about this? Like, how did you choose, and what did you choose, and how was it?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is so specific to France that I'm not even sure how to make the best comparison with something that people are more familiar with. But in France, we have a 2-tier university system, right? So One which would be inherited in a way from Napoleon, which would be that you prepare exams to then get into graduate school, right? So you prepare for 2 years an exam, right? So in the science, in economics, or in the humanities. And then based on that exam, you get to graduate schools or not, and that's the track that has produced most of like the philosophers, actually most of the mathematicians.
What was the name of this? École sub.
Oh yeah, it was like a classe préparatoire. Yeah, so like the preparatory class.
Preparatory class,
which is so uniquely French. It was a way for to implement some meritocracy when it was first introduced by Napoleon, so you have an exam and based on your results, whether you're rich, poor, or something like that, you you get
access to more.
Exactly.
Wow, you get ahead in life for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like really elitists, perhaps.
Yes, and now that's what it has become. It's become yeah, like it's changed a lot since it's been 220 years old now. So yeah, it's changed quite a lot. So this is what I did. So I ended up doing a classe préparatoire where I studied a whole range of different.
You read topics. A lot, right, man? Yeah. You were telling me, and I was like, Jesus. And I got jealous. I'm like, wow, I would love to have read so much so early. It really transforms. Oh my God, here we go. The corgi. Corgi. No,
every time she hears the doorbell.
Yeah, she barks. So yeah, we get nothing like that. Okay, let's make a brief. Let me see because if she wants to go out.
No, she's just guarding the door.
Yeah. So you had to read a lot. This path forced you. Give me just a second. She's gonna go and she's gonna come back. Okay. Don't worry, our editor takes care of this. So, what was it like? Like, what years was this? Like, how old were you approximately for this year?
So it was from 18 to 20.
18 to 20, okay.
18 to 20. And to be fair, I think when I look back upon it, I think that the system isn't very functional.
Okay.
Because you have an exam, right? The exam is very, very old school, right? So you have to write dissertations for 6 hours on a random topic that is selected. The way that
a question or a prompt.
Exactly, a prompt, which could be in history, which could be in philosophy, which could be in any topic. The way that it's evaluated is has extremely high variance, right? Because it's like you wrote 25 pages on a given topic, like very high variance.
6 hours and 25 pages. That was these are the figures.
Yeah, this is the case. So you spend a full week and you got 6 hours on one topic, 6 hours on another, and then you wait for the results, right? And it's written by pen, so like very, very old school. It's something which has not evolved for quite some time.
This is public?
This anybody could pass the exam in a way, and so you pass it like you undertake the exam in like a huge warehouse with
bunch of students,
So these things are not very functional, but I think the great thing about it is that the proclaimed standards, not the standards that they actually meet, but the standards that they uphold, are quite crazy. They're extremely high, which means that even though in practice it is quite messy, there's a high variability, the standards are not always upheld. Like in terms of the standards that they uphold, they are crazy high. They are, in a way, standards which have not really evolved that much since the early 20th century, which is you should be able to translate a text from Greek to French, from even in some specific cases from Greek to be able to translate that, to have a pretty good understanding of like philosophy at 19, so to be able to understand, at least the core tenets of like the conscience system, or or
the basics,
Plato.
like the
basics, but to a pretty high level.
Okay.